Well, welcome back to the channel, everybody. We have a very special video with a very special guest. Now, this special guest doesn't need an introduction.
I just want to say thank you for such a good round of applause. I know I'm cutting you off, but you didn't have to do that. So thank you.
I didn't. Much. You're welcome. So, as I was saying, this special guest does not need an introduction, but if you're new here, or if you live underneath a rock next to Patrick, then please allow me to introduce one of the best people that I know. He's a man of many talents, of which are only overshadowed by his humility and his perfect hairline. He is a loving husband to a wonderful wife. He is a new father to a beautiful baby. He is a dog dad to a perfect good boy doggo. He is a lover of Legos, a son of Dave Ramsey, and a fan of F1. He moves houses more than he changes his underwear. He dreams about Vine making a return and has the life goal to become an international best-selling author, which I guess at the time of this being released has already been achieved. Are we talking about that already? Anyways, Gabe.
Dude.
I brought you on the channel for a reason. Nope, I'm not done. It's going to be a 15-minute intro. I just used you for a thumbnail. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Now, Gabe.
I don't even need to be here. Honestly, dude, I'm cramping. I'm laughing.
I brought you on this channel for views. I mean, to ask you some questions that people want the answers to. Okay.
Perfect.
Are you ready for number one?
Yes.
Number one. So, you're a father, right? Speaking from experience, how are babies made?
Well, this one's an interesting one. Let's use dogs, for example.
This is good.
When a mommy dog and a daddy dog, love each other very much.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But seriously, I
was waiting for you to cut me off. I was going to keep going too.
Yeah. I do want to touch on the subject of fatherhood. You're a brand new father to the most beautiful baby, Micaiah. And I think the first question I would like to know is how has your life changed since having Micaiah? And then second follow-up, how about the way that you see Jess?
Oh, wow. Dang, you're hitting me with the heavy ones. So how's my life changed? Dude, you really, right away, and you're going to experience this very soon, you don't realize how much time you had before. Mm-hmm. How selfish you were. And basically that, dude, it's pretty nuts. I like, your time is not your own. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Like your time, and like when you're married, it's like, yeah, my time's not my own, but like it still is. Like you're two adults. Yeah. There's, you know,
you're independent adults where your biggest responsibility is making sure that you eat on time. You know,
yeah, exactly. And now it's like, oh, baby screaming. Doesn't matter if, you know, I'm in the middle of a bomb interview with my homie Chad on YouTube. Like that's second tier, you know?
Yeah. Have you been pooped on?
I've not been pooped on yet. I've been barfed on.
Has Jess been pooped on?
Jess has been not necessarily pooped on, but a close second. She was bathing Micaiah, or is it bathing? Bathing. She was in the bath with Micaiah, and Micaiah pooped in the bath. Then Jess was like, all right, let's get you out of here. Got her out of there, whatever, tried to clean her up and had her in the towel, and then Micaiah pooped in the towel. So not directly on Jess, but like, it definitely is indirectly. A close second. Yeah,
absolutely.
But what I would have to say, as far as like everything that I've been processing, it was, and I think we talked about this too, off camera, because we're actually friends. When Micaiah came out for the first time, and I had that, I thought I was going to feel a certain way, and I felt different than how I was going to feel, and I was like, what am I feeling right now? Why do I feel weird, and why is this different? I thought there's just like this preconceived notion that Micaiah was going to come out and be our daughter, and she was just going to be part of the family. But it felt like I was, in a way, like I was meeting a stranger for the first time. And I realized every other version of a family member that I've had has always been pre-existing.
Yeah.
siblings were always there. My parents were always there. Grandparents were always there. And then even with Jess, not that she was always there or not, but as far as once we were married, we were already in love and already knew each other very well. So once we became family, we were already at the point of knowing each other well. Well, now I have this new member of the family. And at the point of birth, I didn't even know her name yet. We hadn't given her name. So it was genuinely like meeting a stranger for the first time. And having that like overwhelming realization that I need to like actually put effort into building a relationship with this human being, you know?
I'm here to tell you a frightening tale. In fact, this is one of the most frightening stories of all time about cyber invasion. Yes, you heard me right. A cyber invasion. Nothing scares me, man. There once was a man. There once was a man who had no cybersecurity. I know, right? And this man had a good life. He lived humbly. He had 4 kids, 11 dogs, and a wife. Impressive. A hot wife, might I add. And then one day, this man, let's call him Brad. One day, Brad decides to go on vacation with his family to the Bahamas. And then suddenly, bam! Oh! Someone hacks into his internet and sees everything that he's been looking up, including Nickelback concert tickets. Whoa! But then it got worse. Then he started to receive targeted ads about Nickelback and emails about Nickelback fan clubs. And then someone used his financial information to buy Nickelback merch. Make it stop. Make it stop. There's no way that would happen, man. There's no way that would happen. Can you see the daddy? Cyber invasion is a real threat, Brad. Millions are affected by it every year. Everyone thinks this would never happen to them until it does. Whoa. How does this happen? That's the scary part. You see, most of this is completely legal. In fact, internet service providers are completely allowed to track every single thing that you do online. Nope. And in the UK and Australia, they're actually required to keep everything you do online for 1 to 2 years. Now, I don't want this to happen to me, Chad. You better tell me something to do. I need to do something. You better tell me. It doesn't have to, Brad. You see, this whole thing could have been avoided if he would have just simply invested in and protected his family with ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is the best virtual private network. It basically creates this encrypted force field around every single thing you do online to keep internet service providers from tracking you and targeting you, and hackers from doing even worse. And not to mention, it only takes a few seconds to protect yourself. You simply download the app or software, you click connect, and then you're protected. Find out how you can get 3 months of ExpressVPN for free by going to expressvpn.com/mastersfam or by going to the link below in the description.
You know, Tori and I are due pretty much any time at this point. That baby, her and I think the baby's going to come early. Which
at least
I guess
it's not in the next, 10, 15 minutes?
Which you never know. She's currently taking a nap in the nursery. But I'm so glad you're saying this, because Tori definitely feels a lot more connection to our baby than I do. Now, of course, I didn't grow the baby, and I'm trying to feel connected, but I don't feel like it's talked about enough. It's similar to kind of like the realities of having sex your first night on your wedding night. Like, there's all this hype, and it's like everything's meant to be perfect. Everything is awesome. And that's not always the case for everybody. And that's not a bad thing.
Really? 7 seconds?
Well, I mean,
that's it?
8. Yeah.
I got into double digits. I honestly, I blacked out. I don't know what happened.
But it's just one of those things where I'm so glad you're talking about this. And that's why I am so excited to talk about your book, A Mission for Meaning, because you are talking about things that people don't know about. You're talking about things that people typically won't share about. I understand why people want to keep things close to their chest. I get it. I'm one of those people that believes that when sin entered the world and Adam and Eve went and hid and they covered themselves, they covered their privates with fig leaves, they were hiding their shame. It said they were naked and ashamed. So what do? They covered themselves. And so with us, what you and I do, what everyone does is we're constantly trying to cover the things that we're insecure about. But with this book and the way you talk to me and the way you love others, you're always pulling off metaphorical fig leaves to reveal vulnerabilities that are hard to say, hey, this is a struggle of mine. And then you have no idea how many people will pipe up and say, oh, me too. Like, oh, my family dealt with that. Or, oh, I felt that way about my wife. Or, oh, this is what happened to me that one time. And I just really want to commend you on that, because having these questions or having these topics talked about is so important. And I'm a firm believer in like good in, good out, bad in, bad out. And right now, a lot of us we have a lot coming in, but it's not good. A lot of it's bad. And so I'm glad that you're kind of occupying that space to share good with people so they can receive good in. But I don't want to lose track of that second question, or the part two of it, which was how has the way that you see Jess changed since having Micaiah?
I'm still processing it, definitely, but it's like, you just have this, I don't know, like fondness and awe, or I have this fondness and awe of Jess. Like, one, because of how selfless she is, and in a way she needs to be like more selfless than me with her breastfeeding and the amount of time, like all that takes and everything.
Dude, have you heard what people call that? They call it the food truck. Just come on in. Here's some food and get out of here.
I call it drinking straight from the tap, you know?
Okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
No, but where was I?
You're talking about Jess has to have a greater sacrifice.
Yeah, no. And but it's like there's that, but also, so it's Jess's greater sacrifice attached to this like entire new skill set that I didn't know she had, that she naturally just like has in the tank, you know? And it's just like I have to rely on her so much. When I don't know what to do, Jess swoops in and just like has this motherly instinct that, you know, I just don't have, you know, obviously, but it really is incredible to see. And just, her love for her. And I don't know.
It's wild to think that Jess has been mothering Micaiah, you know, since you guys conceived.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
pretty wild.
Have you guys ever shared this story? No, I'm not going to get into that. Anyways, I'll just say this. It's like coming up on a year, right?
Listen, all I have to say is I'm just going to rattle a few things.
If you didn't hear the thing that Gabe just said, then you just missed out on a nugget. Anyways.
Yeah, that didn't make the book.
Okay, it didn't make the book, but it made the YouTube. Anyways, all right. Next question. Now, this was probably the most asked question that I got whenever I polled myself. How much money do you have in the bank account?
Oh, yeah. Well, honestly, to be fair, I wish I had more. We currently finished renovating a property, and that was just, you know. Yeah. You're just shelling away cash.
You're just shelling away money? Yeah. You're building.
But really, I mean, to answer the question in a serious way, we like to be like somewhat liquid, but we kind of treat our properties, or we kind of treat real estate like having bank accounts that increase in value drastically and pay you back money. So
I just love the fact that you said we try to stay liquid. You know things are going well when you say you try to stay. By the way, for those of you who aren't in that place, he's not talking about dietary, okay? He's not on a juice cleanse, okay? He's talking about cold, hard, greenback, just cash. Anyways,
cash,
okay.
Liquid means having cash in the bank that's at your disposal,
I do have a serious question.
Okay.
I'm mixing it up for you, baby. I'm just here.
I love it. Okay. I love it.
Okay. Next question. And by the way, you only have, I would say, a minute and a half to answer this one.
Okay.
if you could go back and tell 20-year-old Gabe 3 things, and you only had a minute and a half to do it, and I'm going to start a timer, actually.
All right.
Starting in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Stop comparing yourself to other people online and figure out exactly what your goals and overall mission is in life, and only do things that take you towards that goal, and don't chase the shiny things that you see everywhere else. Also, don't be so cringe on Vine. That's a must. Yeah, that's basically that's the first thing I can think of right there. So,
dude, that was incredible.
I
It was only 30
like,
seconds.
Yeah, dude, I wanted to keep it nice and tight, you know?
Yeah, okay. I'm not going to touch that one. Anyways, okay, so next question, okay? And first off, I loved the things you shared, because even the first thing you mentioned about comparing yourself, I know all of us can learn from that. You know, I guarantee every single person who's listening or watching right now has struggled with comparison or envy or jealousy at some point in their life. And it's something that we all struggle with. Sometimes it's hard whenever we're constantly bombarded with what are other people doing. It's hard to not look at our own life and be like, oh, well, why don't I look like that person? Or why don't I have a successful career like that person? And I say this in quite a few of our YouTube videos, but I do want to encourage you guys that the thing that really helps me whenever I'm struggling with looking at what other people have is I tell myself, I say this out loud. I'm not making this up. I say, the only reason I should be looking at this person's cup is to make sure that they have enough. And it takes my heart posture from how do I get versus how do I give? And when scripture says, when Jesus says you're more blessed to give than to receive, I feel like I just assume this posture of just like, wow, I'm being selfish looking at this person versus being selfless looking at this person. So that helps me in that whole struggle.
Yeah, and I would say even to like something that I've been trying to, because my comparison kind of manifested itself over the course of time as me, like specifically like business wise. I'd see like other people, and all these other people are all like other influencers or other people doing, you know, stuff online. So it's like easy to see what they're doing and then compare yourself to what they're doing. And I basically found that I would end up making like changes to my, you know, digital media business or influencer business based off of what I saw, what was working for other people. And I wasn't like just staying in my own lane. And what you said about like being selfish, I have to like, I now take it to when I see someone doing something else, I still have that like comparison switch. Yeah. But it's more out of a place of kind of like appreciation for what they're doing rather than selfishness, and just kind of saying like, they're doing well. I'm on a completely different path, but what can I learn from what they're doing, and not just completely try and recreate what they have or like make what they have. You know what I mean? Like I need to stick to my journey, but there's obviously something I can learn, and just kind of like having that appreciation towards what other people are doing rather than comparison. Yeah. I think that's great. Especially, it's kind of like whenever you learn to celebrate other people's wins, especially when you feel like you're losing, that's powerful. And to me, that tells your mind, it tells the enemy that I'm not going to allow this to rule over me. And I love what you're saying. So, and, you know, I've seen you in some low moments. I don't know if they are your lowest, but I've definitely seen you in some hard moments. And I've also seen you on the peaks as well. Some of those are even mentioned in the book, by the way. So I would love to know, why was I the inspiration for you writing this book? Well, in order to answer that, I think we'll just have to start at the beginning. Dude, it's actually, what is it, page, is it like 119? Yeah. Is it I was 119? Actually just going to go, introduction, a note from me to you. Seriously. Jess and I recently built a house together near the beach, not far from where I grew up. It's so cute. Yeah, what page are you in? I'm looking for it. I have it folded, and I have a new copy. Yeah, nice. Shout out. Yeah. Anyways,
Oh, here it is. It's 113. Okay. And it says...
Hold on, I'm trying to read along. 113. There we go.
Okay, I'm just going to jump in right here. We were kind to each other once the anger dissipated, and we kissed goodnight. But that's like the bare minimum a couple should do. What else should they do, Gabe? I'm kidding, by the way.
Well, let's go back to the beginning. How were babies made?
Yes. Yep. Okay. I love that full circle moment.
Yeah,
I think
callback.
anyone who's ever had a fight with a spouse or partner knows that feeling. It's like everything still lingers in the back of your mind or in the front of your mind, and it doesn't feel loving. It feels disconnected. You might even feel like you're walking on eggshells, and that's not a good feeling at all. A couple of days after this, I went to the gym with my buddy Chad. Actually, I went to the buddy with the best guy of all time, Chad. You should have sent this for edit.
Dude, yeah. What? How did I
don't know.
I completely missed that.
Yeah. We were about 10 minutes into our workout when he asked, "So how are you and Jess doing?" I almost cried. I mean, dude, I love your vulnerability there. And
thanks, man. Do you remember that? You remember that moment clear as day, right?
Honestly, it breaks my heart when I think about it. It makes me want to cry now because now that I've been married for more than a minute, I know that feeling of feeling helpless, of not knowing what to do. I actually opened up to Tori about this the other day where she asked me a question. She was like, "What's something that you haven't told me?" And I told her that I try to put on like a good front for like being a good husband and marriage and stuff and preparing for fatherhood. But I told her, I was like, I actually have no idea what I'm doing, and it's hard. Yeah. And whenever I saw you in the gym in that moment, I saw someone who just didn't know what to do. And it still makes me sad today because I can just empathize with it, of just feeling defeated, you know? But I'm so glad that we talked about it, or at least I was just like, I don't know the answer. Let's go to someone who does.
Yeah.
Why am I crying? Anyways, I'm sweating from my eyes.
Make me cry. Oh man. Next question.
Okay.
Next question. Oh man.
This is a twofer. Okay, because I'm going to start wrapping up right here.
Yeah.
What are some reasons why our audience should check out this book? A Mission for Meaning: The Choices That Lead to the Life You Really Want.
I really think there's a perspective that I have learned over time to have just from the things that I've learned, the people I've been around. And I don't think a lot of people have, it could be a very new perspective on life as a whole for people, on like creating a clear mission in your life and a clear focus, and how, learning about, your past and reflecting on your past and what's gotten you to where you're at today. And even like your family. I even talk, multiple generations back to my grandparents and their whole story that led to my parents and their story to me. And it kind of leads up to the point of where we're moving to Nashville. Like it ends off, we're moving to Nashville and about to have Micaiah and kind of extend our story, the next generation further. But just kind of having that perspective shift on really living an intentional life. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's in the subtitle, The Choices That Lead to the Life You Really Want. But yeah, I just think there's a lot to glean from, and I mean, it sounds weird because it's my story, but everyone has their own story.
Yeah.
And everyone it might be more dramatic than mine. It might be less dramatic than mine, but it doesn't matter. You've gone through things, you've had experiences, you've learned stuff, and you've failed at things and learned from those too. And your story is able to impact people. And that's just what I'm trying to do through my book. And there's definitely like a perspective in there that I think a lot of people need to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. I do too.
Really it all points back to God as well, with like just seeing how God was like planting seeds early on, like multi-generationally,
Yeah.
And then to where God has taken our family today is just like, it's pretty incredible. And I think I'm humbled to like have it in a book on it, to be honest.
I think it's really powerful to do what you're talking about. And because I feel like a lot of us, especially in this 18 to 35 range, like just young adults, young working professionals, all this stuff, we haven't really been exposed to the world yet. And some of us have. So don't get me wrong. Some of us have actually had a really, really hard life. And so I'm not knocking that. But I feel like sometimes we think we're invincible, and then the cracks start to happen, and then water starts to get in, and then relationships fail, and then problems happen, and then you're exposed to how hard life can be sometimes. And I feel like we end up standing too close to the trees that we miss the bigger picture, the bigger forest. And I feel like what you did with this book is you said, you know what? I'm going to press pause. I'm going to get a bird's eye view of what's happening with our family. Like, what did my grandparents go through that led to how they raised my parents? What did my parents experience, which you opened up about in the beginning? What did my parents experience that led to how they raised us? And then what have I experienced that's going to change the way I raise Micaiah? And I feel like so many of us only want to live from Gabe to Micaiah, but there's so much more in there. There's so much more generationally that's happening. And I feel like people who have had a harder life would have a greater appreciation of where they are if they took a step back to realize, oh, wow, if you look at where I could be based off of where my family was heading or what my family had to go to, I'm actually in such a great place. Yes, I'm not where I exactly want to be, but with these small decisions, I can change the path of my future. And I think that's an encouragement for us all to not get so caught up where you just want to be meticulous and control one little thing versus you take a step back and you realize how far you've come, and you just rely on those consistent habits to keep taking you where you want to go and not beat yourself up if you're not already there. So can you let people know where they can get the book, and then can you wrap us up with a come on?
So you can get the book. You can get the book, A Mission for Meaning, on Amazon, at Barnes & Noble. You can get it on Target. And yeah, there's a lot of booksellers. Most of the main booksellers have them.
Yeah.
If you're international, there is a bookseller. If you have Amazon, most Amazons around the world, like countries that have Amazon, the book is there. Some of them don't have them. In Australia, if you are Australian, Kurong will have it. It's going to be like a week later in Australia for some reason. I don't know why. If you don't want to wait for that like extra week, Booktopia in Australia also has it. And you can order that now. And there is bookdepository.com also has it for worldwide shipping. They ship to most countries, like almost every country, and they actually have free shipping worldwide, which is really great. So if you're in a place that's not able to have it, book depository
Absolutely
is your best bet.
Well, thanks so much for hopping on the channel, Big Dog Gabe. We've been waiting for you.
Man. Come on! Bro, I had to do it.
Oh my
I had to do it.
Dude, I love you. Thanks for popping on.
Thanks for having me, dog.
Anybody who wants the book, there's going to be links in the description, all that fun stuff. Thanks for supporting my friend and believing in him. Please go hug Micaiah and say hi to Jess from us. Love you, man.
Hey y'all, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you're encouraged from the Convo with Gabe, but I also hope you really enjoyed that ad. I want to give a big thank you to ExpressVPN for being one of the biggest supporters of our channel. They keep sponsoring us and we are very thankful for it, and we appreciate you guys supporting us by going and checking them out. Again, don't forget, check out the link in our description or go to expressvpn/mastersfam to find out how you can get 3 months free of ExpressVPN. Guys, it's so affordable and it's so easy to use. I'm not sure if you can see this, but this is how it's this easy to connect. It takes no time at all. I use it all the time, and so I definitely recommend you guys check it out. Other than that, we'll see you in the next one. Do 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 do.